Good morning. So it's Sunday morning. Bleeding again. Cut myself shaving, just reopened it. So it's Sunday morning, and I was up early this morning, and I didn't really know what I was going to talk about today. And of course, in the shower, it came to me. And so what I really want to talk about this morning is emotional abuse, and what it is to be the victim of emotional abuse, and to recognize that that's what's happened to you. I realized this morning, as I was thinking about the way that people are going to react to this project, and the fear. There's fear. There's apprehension. There's anxiety that I feel about the way some people might react. And two in particular, the two human beings I am the most afraid of. And it got me thinking. So the two human beings I am most afraid of are my dad, Bill, and my ex-wife, Taylor. So why am I afraid of them? Well, started thinking about it. One thing I know about that they have in common is they have deep-seated issues. And as I've been sort of going through this healing process, I can see how those issues were kind of played out on me. I'm sure they were played out on other people as well. And so I wanted to talk about a really interesting comparison to something that goes on in our house. And that is this. This is my cat boy, CB. This is his therapy rabbit. And what CB does with this thing, and it's a really amazing thing to see. Hopefully I'll get some video of him doing it. So when he gets upset, he just beats the snot out of this thing. Just kicks out. You can see how he's all torn up and everything. Poor therapy rabbit. And has angry sex with it, even though he's neutered. But we can always tell. I remember when I first moved in here and was with Judy, and I turned around and looked at the cat's coming down the stairs with therapy rabbit grabbing it by the throat, carrying it down the stairs. I've never seen anything like that. And so as I think about emotional abuse, a lot of people have been the victim of that. And so when as I look at my life and I think of the people that have been in my life and the people who I still carry at age 46 and a lot of distance years and geography and all that stuff, why am I still afraid of them? Why am I still so afraid of Bill? Why am I still so afraid of Taylor? Well, emotionally, the damage they did to me, each of those people did to me, was tremendous. And God help me if they see this and they're going to get all upset, and I'm afraid of that. So, at some point, if I get any they lash out at me at this, I'll probably talk about it because it's going to hurt. But it's really important for me to share this, I guess. So what happens when you are someone's therapy rabbit, when they beat up on you emotionally? With Bill, I was a kid, I go through, I work with my therapist, and I go through my journey in sobriety and recovery and spirituality and all that stuff, and I'm identifying the things that, led me to becoming an alcoholic and led me to being all the dysfunctions and everything that have happened to me in my life. And I know that Bill and a lot of people, the Hanson family would point to me and say it's my fault, that all those things are because of something about me. And to the extent that which I'm, whatever, it's nature, my nature to be all these bad things. I'm not a bad person. I'm actually a pretty good person. And, but I never felt that way growing up. I always felt shame. I think I talked about in one of my earlier posts about how I cringed when I heard the name David Hanson. When somebody would speak that name, I never wanted to utter it, and I never wanted to hear it. I just wanted it. It was like being punched in the face to hear it, or punched in the stomach. And where does that come from? What makes you feel that way about yourself? I feel so terribly for all the people out there who carry long hurts and who've been not by anything they deserve, but they were the therapy rabbit for someone, and they just got beaten on, and it just does so much damage. It's horrible. It's so sad. I'm starting to really, my sense of self-worth is building a little bit now, finally. And so I can look at these things that I accepted as normal, and maybe it's all my fault, and maybe I deserve to be disliked or shunned or ridiculed or any of those things. I don't think I did. I didn't really do anything wrong. I didn't try to hurt anybody. And for some reason, I always walked around thinking I was the worst human being on earth, and that I was never going to be anything, and that I wasn't worth anything. And it's funny. I cut myself shaving, and my wife Judy pointed out just now before I came down here. She said, "Oh, you're bleeding," and I said, "Yeah, it's no big deal. Whatever." She goes, "David, what the heck is it with you? You get hurt, and you just walk through it. You're like, whatever, no big deal." And it's something I'm starting to kind of recognize, is that for a lot of us, we have this survivor mentality where we take injury, we take hurt, and we just take it in stride. And, so I'm bleeding, and I'm like, I don't care, whatever. Yeah, it hurts, it stings, it's no big deal. It alarms her, and I'm like, why does it bother you that much? When I was growing up, it's like, I got my arm broken one night, Friday night, like hockey practice or something. Like, I got my arm broken, and, the reaction when I got home was like, we don't have time for this. And so it was only begrudgingly that the next morning, as we were trying to get ready for a game in Binghamton, that, Jan angrily told Bill, take him to the hospital. He's complaining about being hurt, and takes me to the hospital and gets an X-ray. He didn't see the fracture. Thank God, Dan Yale, God rest him, came in and looked at the X-ray and said, "Hey, you got a heck of a compression fracture there." And sure enough, I wore a cast from that point forward. But that was the response. That was the reaction I always got. Was if you're hurt, if you're crying, if you're bleeding, we don't have time for that. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're not worth anything. That's the message that sends. It's a terrible thing, and it just eroded my self-esteem, crushed me to death. Why am I afraid of Taylor so much? I mean, I've mentioned before, that marriage was a disaster of epic proportions, and that was emotional hurt that was inflicted on me as an adult. And at some point, my therapist is going to earn a lot of money as I walk through that period of my life. But in very practical terms, let's focus on the emotional damage that was done to me as a child and what that did to me. Well, I was afraid of Bill. I was afraid of expressing my feelings and fears and acknowledging that I was hurt, because no one was going to take care of me. I didn't think anybody wanted to take care of me. I always seemed to be mad if I needed help, or if I needed caring. It was an annoyance. It was an inconvenience. And something really bad happened as a result of that. I was sexually abused when I was about 12 or 13, and I was terrified. I'm not going to go into that in detail right now. It's a horrible memory, and it's not really something I want to share here right now. But it happened, and I never told anybody. I couldn't. I couldn't tell Bill and Jan. Couldn't tell anybody. Couldn't tell my teachers. Couldn't tell anybody. My brother, sister, no. Couldn't tell anybody. I was terrified of what would happen to me if I shared that. And I've carried that. I've carried that my whole life. And here's more money for my therapist. He's going to earn a lot of money. He's going to buy a vacation house on this. Why is this love project so important? When you hurt people, especially children, when they're afraid of you, when they're afraid of sharing their feelings and their pain with you, bad things can happen to them. Bad things happen to me. Sometimes I'm glad I don't have kids, because I'm afraid that somehow I would pass this on to them, and they would suffer some of the pain that I suffered. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect to be this emotional about all this crap. My wife put a box of tissues next to next to the computer here on my desk in the office here, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I have to use that, but I guess since this is therapy, you're supposed to do that. Wow. Look. I'm so sorry for all the people out there who've been carrying pain and hurt with them. You know, who've suffered and not been able to move on from it. It sucks that I'm 46. I'm still carrying all this crap with me, and I'm trying to unburden myself now and live a life that's free from fear. I don't want to be afraid of Bill and Taylor anymore. I don't want to be afraid of anybody. I don't want to be afraid of who I am. I don't want to be ashamed of who I am. Holds you back, for sure. I mean, I wonder what I could have been if I didn't feel the way I feel about myself. And boy, if I ever did anything to anybody that made them feel even a little bit the way I feel, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, boy, am I sorry. Wow. Well, getting ready to go to church, which is always a high point of my week. I wish Judy was coming with me. She's got midterms. She goes to Harvard, neuropsychology. Whew. Smarty smart. Love is so important. A lot of us, so many of us need to heal. I need to heal. Oh my gosh, do I need to heal? I so appreciate anybody who's watching this and is letting me share this with them, because it's helping me a lot. If I can help you, I will. Need a kind word or a hug, you have it. I love you. I'm going to sign off right now with my customary sign off, I guess now. Just, God loves you. I love you. Be happy. Feel better. Feel good. Love the people in your life. Know that you are loved. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you, letting me get this off my chest. I hope this helps somebody. It's helping as much as it's helping me. Probably going to cry a lot right now. It's one of those things that you do when you're in recovery and when you're healing. Well, I didn't think this morning was going to be. I thought I wanted to do something uplifting and happy. I have a sense of humor, and I'm a generally happy person, but this subject is pretty painful. So anyway, I love you. I love you all. Love Project. Share the love.